It's a story we hear far too often on this channel, a recurring theme that underscores a growing problem in our digital age. They met someone online on a dating app, a social media platform, or even a seemingly innocent online game. The connection felt real, a spark ignited through shared interests and late-night conversations. They shared dreams, made plans for the future, and fell deeply in love, envisioning a life together filled with happiness and companionship. But the person they loved never existed. It was a carefully constructed illusion. It was all a lie, a meticulously crafted scheme designed to steal their money and shatter their heart. Romance scams prey on our deepest need for connection, exploiting our innate desire for love and companionship, leaving not just financial loss, a gaping hole in their savings and a mountain of debt, but emotional devastation, a profound sense of betrayal, and a lingering fear of trusting anyone again. The internet has made finding love easier, connecting people across geographical boundaries and offering a vast pool of potential partners, but it's also a perfect hunting ground for criminals, providing anonymity and access to vulnerable individuals. Scammers hide behind fake profiles, carefully curating their online persona to appear trustworthy and appealing. Using stolen photos and fabricated stories, they create an elaborate facade designed to lure in unsuspecting victims. To create the perfect partner, someone who seems too good to be true, precisely tailored to their target's desires and vulnerabilities. They are patient, willing to invest weeks or even months in building a relationship. Charming, showering their victims with attention, affection, and compliments, and spend months building trust, slowly gaining their victims' confidence and lowering their defenses. It's a calculated predatory game, a strategic manipulation of emotions and vulnerabilities, with high stakes for the victim, who can lose everything, their savings, their home, and their sense of self-worth. Today we'll talk about Laura Cowell, a real person whose life was tragically impacted by one of these scams. A woman from Illinois, just like many of us, seeking companionship and connection in the digital world, whose search for companionship ended in tragedy, leaving a trail of heartbreak and financial ruin. Laura's story is a powerful reminder, a stark illustration of the devastating consequences of romance scams, of how dangerous these scams can be and how easily anyone can fall victim to these sophisticated schemes. It's not just about technology or crime, it's about the human element, the emotions that scammers exploit. It's about human vulnerability and the hope for love, the very things that make us human and connect us to one another. By understanding what happened to Laura, by dissecting the scam and analyzing the red flags, we can learn to spot the warning signs and protect ourselves and those we care about from becoming victims. This is a difficult conversation, but it's necessary, a crucial step in raising awareness and preventing future tragedies. Awareness is our best defense against these heartless fraudsters, our shield against their deceptive tactics. How do these scams work? It starts with a fake persona. Scammers create irresistible profiles, often using stolen photos of military personnel or business people, professions that explain why they can't meet in person. They shower their target with attention, building trust and emotional connection. Soon they move the conversation to private apps, making it harder to track. After weeks or months, a crisis appears, a medical emergency, a business deal gone wrong, or trouble with customs. The victim is asked for money, first a small amount, then more. The scammer manipulates emotions, making the victim feel guilty if they hesitate. This cycle can last months, even years, isolating the victim from friends and family. The victim is left emotionally and financially trapped in a relationship that was never real. How do scammers get the money without revealing themselves? Enter the money mule. Some mules are in on the scam, but many are victims themselves, tricked into moving money for their partner. Victims send money to a local account, believing it's legitimate, but the mule then forwards it overseas. This process launders the money and shields the real criminals. Mules are often disposable. Once their accounts are flagged, scammers move on. Being a money mule can lead to felony charges. Even if you didn't know you were part of a crime, it's another layer of tragedy in these heartbreaking scams. Laura Cowell, a 57-year-old woman from Illinois, lived a quiet life. She was a beloved member of her community, known for her kindness and generosity. After the loss of her husband, she bravely decided to explore the world of online dating, hoping to find companionship and perhaps a second chance at love. She was looking for companionship online. It was there that she met a man who called himself Frank Borg, a supposed sophisticated Swedish diamond merchant with a charming demeanor. He was incredibly attentive, showering her with compliments and sweet words, and Laura, yearning for connection, quickly fell in love with the idea of him. After weeks of building a virtual relationship and gaining her trust, Frank began to weave a tale of financial hardship, claiming he was facing unexpected business setbacks and desperately needed money. Believing his lies, Laura, wanting to help the man she loved, sent him tens of thousands of dollars, slowly but surely draining her savings and eventually even taking out loans to support his fabricated emergencies. The emotional toll of the scam was immense. The constant worry, the financial strain, the gnawing feeling that something was terribly wrong. As the scam progressed, Frank isolated her from her family, creating a wedge between her and her loved ones. He manipulated her with guilt, empty promises of a future together, and declarations of undying love, keeping her ensnared in his web of deceit. Laura's family watched helplessly, their concern growing with each passing day as she withdrew further and further, completely trapped in the scam's devastating grip. In August 2020, completely overwhelmed by the mounting debt and the crushing despair, Laura made the heartbreaking decision to take her own life. Unable to see a way out of the nightmare she was living, her family tragically found her body in the Mississippi River, a place that once brought her peace, now marking the end of her suffering. Beside her, they discovered a note, a heartbreaking testament detailing the elaborate scam that had consumed her life. In total, she had lost over $1 million to this heartless con artist. Her death transformed what was initially a case of fraud into a full-blown homicide investigation as authorities sought to bring the perpetrator to justice. Laura's tragic story serves as a stark reminder of the ultimate price that victims of these heartless romance scams can pay. It's a devastating tragedy that should never have happened, and a cautionary tale for anyone seeking connection online. The investigation into Laura's death uncovered an international scamming ring. Frank Borg was a persona used by a network of fraudsters. Laura's money was funneled through a US money mule to Nigeria. Several people were arrested, including the mule who received Laura's funds. In court, Laura's daughter described the pain of losing her mother to this crime. The money mule, Yomi Sodiq, was sentenced for laundering money from Laura and others. The judge acknowledged the severity of the crime and its fatal consequences. For Laura's family, it was a moment of validation, but no sentence could erase their loss. The case raised public awareness about the real dangers of romance scams. These are not victimless crimes. They have devastating, sometimes fatal consequences. Navigating the online world requires vigilance. How can you protect yourself from potential scams and deceptions? Learn to recognize the red flags that signal danger. One common tactic is to rush into a relationship. If a relationship moves too fast, with grand declarations of love early on, be wary. This could be a sign of manipulation. A reluctance or outright refusal to meet in person or even engage in a simple video chat is a major warning sign that something isn't right. Scammers always have excuses: working overseas, broken cameras, or consistently bad internet. These are classic stalling techniques. The single biggest red flag is any request for money, no matter how convincing the story or dire the circumstances may seem. Never send money, gift cards, or cryptocurrency to someone you've only met online, regardless of how long you've been talking. Be extremely careful with personal information. Scammers use it to build trust and make their stories believable. Utilize reverse image searches to verify the authenticity of profile photos. Thoroughly research their name and other provided details, looking for inconsistencies or discrepancies in their story. Always trust your instincts. If something feels off or too good to be true, it probably is. Don't hesitate to end the conversation immediately if you're suspicious. It's always better to be cautious and protect yourself than to risk your well-being and financial security. Take these precautions to protect yourself and your loved ones from online scams. Laura Cowell's story is a sobering lesson about the dangers of online romance scams. These are sophisticated operations that exploit our need for love and connection. Protecting ourselves means being vigilant and skeptical online. Encourage open conversations with friends and family about online relationships. Victims shouldn't suffer in silence. Create a safe space for sharing concerns. Tech companies and law enforcement must do more to stop these crimes. Public awareness is essential. Stories like Laura's can help prevent future tragedies. Our greatest defense is knowledge and intuition. Never send money to someone you haven't met in person. Let's honor Laura's memory by committing to a safer, more vigilant digital life.